What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back with career mode for episode number 12. Now, I'd just like to bring your attention to last episode uploaded yesterday. It was uploaded really late yesterday, like midnight, so you might have missed it. Hungarian Grand Prix, go check it out, because we're going to talk about some spoilers. And my word, was that a very sad race, very sad ending. I cannot believe the ending to that race. Very nearly getting ourselves a victory, and then it all coming undone thanks to the rain. Yeah, I think we could have won that one if we put it on the safety car. We won't be making that mistake again. What a Grand Prix that was. Go check it out, like I said. But we now move on and focus to the Belgian Grand Prix. We're negotiating the summer break in this episode. We are going to do, finally, a facility upgrade, and that was for the chassis. Well, the chassis department, but it's resource point generation. So while we're waiting for us to save up more money, the first upgrade makes sense to be resource point generation. You'll know when I'm ready to start doing upgrades when I get to fabrication upgrades for the facility. We're going to prioritize resource point generation, then quality control, and then fabrication for most departments, if we can. Anyway, we decided to accept to go to a charity. It didn't say the positives or the negatives from that, but I imagine that we'll see the consequences of that or the rewards for that in an episode or two. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Anyway, it is time for the Belgian Grand Prix. This is a rival duel in the Pirelli Hot Lap Challenge. We're jumping in the Mercedes AMG GT Black Series. Pretty much the safety car, and it is a 1v1. Not with a Formula 1 driver, not with Lewis Hamilton, not with Bert Maylander. Some random dude called Tremblay, who apparently can't start races to save his life. That was a good start from us. We maintain the lead of this little race, and we've got to get to the start-finish line in this car. Now, one thing I didn't anticipate was how terrible this thing would be under brakes. I forgot this isn't an F1 car, and we nearly throw away the victory. Ferrari style. And Tremblay here gets a great exit and really gives me a run for my money up to the line, and thankfully we do hold on. But that's the first of 3 races. We have to win all 3 races to get 1,000 driver acclaim and $100,000 in the bank. We need the money. We're saving up for resources, of course. Attempt number 2, and we got a much better, or we got a great start once again. Completely blew him off the line. And then heading into this corner, well, we didn't make the same mistake. If anything, we probably broke too early into the bus stop chicane. But either way, secure the W. We now move on to the 3rd race, where we have to start behind him. Now, given his starts, that may not be too difficult. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the practice Belgian Grand Prix, starting in the 3rd sector. And my word, I'm a beast at starting cars when they have traction control. I'm guessing this car has traction control on, because there's no wheel spin. 3 wins from 3 races. Maybe I should consider a career change and go to GT racing, because that seems to be my calling. Absolute beast. Tremblay in the mud. He will not be signed by Marduk Motorsport anytime soon. Either way, we have some upgrades courtesy of Red Bull, our supplier, who give us our engines, and it turns out it's a general maintenance, general wear upgrade. So the reliability of, I'm guessing, all components are going to be 10% better from here on out, and I really appreciate that. Resource points flowing in, over 3,500 resource points now, and we've only saved for 2 episodes. So in a couple of races time, whenever that might be, we are going to go on a spending spree. But it's time for quali. Right, time for qualifying, guys. If you haven't already, please leave a like. That would really help me out. And subscribe to see plenty more F1 22 videos. Uh-oh, someone has not put in a new engine for this race. I'm blaming the staff. That's their job. That's the engineers not doing their job. I'm just the driver. They have not put in new components for the start of this session. Thankfully, Parc Fermé isn't on until we leave the garage, so we can actually fix a couple of components. We're going to change the MGUK, and we're going to change the ICE, the main engine components. It's going to take 14 minutes to do so, and we will be able to get a run at the end of the session to get ourselves out of Q1. We fast forward time. Still 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 50 to go in the session. Crisis somewhat averted. Some of our parts are a little bit more worn than what I would like them to be, but at least we're going to have a go at qualifying here. It's going to be a one-shot quali for us. I've been simulating the practice sessions just so I can help get these career mode videos out daily, but it means that we come into these qualifying sessions a little bit cold. It's not usually a problem because I'm playing the game every day these days. But this is my first lap on the game, and it's maximum pressure. Everything on the line here. Marduk Motorsport at the back of the grid so far in this qualifying session. Daniel Ricciardo to pole position. Q1 provisionally. As we go up EAU ROUGE and Radion, we've got some floor damage. Sorry, I didn't clatter a curb there. I touched a curb on the inside and on the outside. And I actually thought it was from the second curve there on the right. But when we slow this down and show you the replay, this is actually scary how the damage came about. Here's the slow-mo. We actually got damage from just being on the road. Just the sheer bumps of the road gave us floor damage. I have never seen that before on a Formula 1 game. Simulation damage can give you floor damage anywhere, it seems. Even if there's a slight bump. Wow. Anyway, we have to press on. This is our one and only chance to set a lap. We've now got floor damage. It's minor, so it's going to cost us a little bit, but not drastically, I hope. It feels normal. I don't really have a reference to what it felt like before, really, so we're just going to crack on. When you do have floor damage, it means that you've got more drag because the floor isn't working as efficiently as what it was, and you lose downforce as well, stability in the rear end to be specific. So it is going to cost us. But, you know, even though this is my first lap on the game today and we've got the floor damage, I'm really happy with my accuracy and where I'm putting the car. I'm actually really able to put the car where I want it to be. Normally it takes like a few laps, 10 minutes to really get your eye in, but to be honest, I've actually hit all my marks on this lap so far, particularly on corner exit, really going up against the white line and maybe even a little bit beyond it, a couple of corners. But managing to get away with track limits. Still strict corner cutting rules are on, like real life Austria today. Up to the line. Very good lap considering the circumstances, and it puts us, you can't see it right now, but it's P17. P17 in those circumstances, I think is a phenomenal lap. We missed out on Q2, but that was not a clean qualifying session for either driver. Oscar Piastri with a terrible lap there. That looks suspect. That doesn't look like he got a clean lap in, and the sectors tell the tale. He's all over the place. Sector 1, Sector 2, massive disparity between both laps. And he just made mistakes on both laps. Couldn't hook either lap up. So, unfortunate for Oscar, he'll be starting at the back of the grid. To be honest, with that starting position of P17, if we take penalties, we're not losing much. 5 places. So, I think I'm going to take an engine penalty in this race, guys. Again, I mean, it's been a very familiar sight this season. We may as well take them while we're slow and unreliable. We also have that dilemma of the turbocharger. We did take a new turbo last race. I think if we're truly to get to the end of the season, we need to take another turbo. So we may as well do it now while we've qualified at the back. We're not costing ourselves too much. There might be other AI drivers as well who take penalties at this circuit. We're dipping into our 7th? Our 8th MGUH. Oh my word, this is F1 2010 days. We had 1 million engines to use. Cost cap is going to be flying out the window very shortly, but these are necessary changes. New components are going in, gearing up for the race. Pace looks good. Let's do it.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher back in 1992. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, George Russell and Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Joe and Lance Stroll, Sainz, Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty, Sebastian Vettel and Bottas, Ocon, Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda and Nicholas Latifi. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Albon, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty, and Benjamin. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I know what we can do as well. We managed to turn an average race into something really special. Nearly. Last race. So I think anything's possible in this one. Eau Rouge, Raidillon, Pouhon, all of the corners. Blanchimont, there's a lot of potential for us to be fast. I think we're going to be quite good at overtaking. We've gone for a low drag setup. I think as long as we can hold on in the corners, we might be all right. We might be well poised to overtake some people in this race. So we're going to see. Mediums. I might even go to softs to finish off this race, depending on the tyre wear. But we are underway for the second half of this season. Belgian Grand Prix is here, and it looks like an okay start. I didn't get that weird bogged down in 6th gear issue this race, so I'm not sure what that is. A lot of you guys speculating it might be a low diff issue. I will continue to test that, but regardless, it's been a good start. Up in a P19, dumping the battery now to stay ahead of both of our fellow Honda Power Unit compatriots there. I think that was a Mercedes off to the side. It was George Russell who has gone off at Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and we're going to have to take this all the way back to the start here to see what happened to the Mercedes driver. These guys have been crashing way too much, or, well, just the Mercedes drivers in general, and it continues at turn 1 with George Russell going from like 4th to 1st. Dive bombing his teammate at turn 1 and leading the Grand Prix. It's 3 wide down into Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Contact with Hamilton, and it's George Russell who comes out the worst going at Raidillon. He is out of the Grand Prix after contact with his teammate again. Here's the replay. Lewis Hamilton pinched in the middle of 3 cars, 3 wide up Eau Rouge. That is absolutely ridiculous. Lewis distracted by Sergio, and then squeezes his teammate. There's just not enough space. It's hard to pin blame on anyone there, really, when there's so little room. And unfortunately, George was just an unfortunate result of everyone being so closely matched through there. Let me know who you guys think is at fault, if anyone. Someone should have backed out there. And, yeah, that's just really unfortunate. George Russell out of the Grand Prix. I hope he's okay. Not a good spot to go off there. We've seen some pretty horrific crashes at that part of the track, so it's good to see he's out of the car and safety car, and he's, you know, under the safe hands of the virtual medical staff. Anyway, into the pit lane we go. Hard compound tyres are going on because, well, I ignored an opportunity to pit under safety car last race. I'm not doing the same mistake today. We're going to go into the hard compound tyres. Latifi is into the lane as well. Realistically, we were ahead of only Verstappen, Piastri, and Gasly. Verstappen, we're not racing. Pierre Gasly is going to retire from the Grand Prix anyway. Verstappen, we're not racing. I said that already. And Oscar Piastri, we can just give him team orders to let us back through. So really, we've lost nothing. And essentially, we can go to the end of the Grand Prix if so we wish to choose to do so. So we'll see how we go. The tyre wear was pretty good in Hungary. It's a high tyre deg circuit, that one. And it's, you'd have to say, it's normally a little less tyre deg around here. So we should be able to get to the end on this set of compound tyres. I guess the only downside is it's a very quick transition time in the pit lane, so I don't know. It's you don't lose out too much by not pitting under safety car here, as long as you've got the pace. But it gives us options. We can go to hards. Hards, we're already on hards. We can go to softs near the end, or we can go to mediums if there's another safety car. Who knows? We are leaving ourselves options. We're not tied up with having to do the 2 compound tyre rule from here on out. As we go back underway, the green flag running. A bit of contact with my teammate there at the apex of the last corner. No damage done, I hope, as you run into turn 1. Let's just check that damage. Doesn't feel like there's any damage as Oscar doesn't make the most of that exit. And now we're side by side as we head down into Eau Rouge and Radion. Hasn't been good for teammates so far. Here comes Latifi out of nowhere. I'm not letting go Tifi do me round the outside at Eau Rouge and Radion. Here he comes anyway, up the inside on the Camel Straight. We've got the DRS, or no, we've got the slipstream of our teammate, but we're opting not really to use it. We squeeze him to the inside, now holding the racing line, and Latifi on soft compound tyres briefly gets ahead before we squeeze him out and hold on to the position. We had to end that early, because if that descends into side-by-side action for too long, we lose the DRS of our teammates. I mean, even the side-by-side action we had anyway lost us half a second. So we've got to claw that back, use a bit of our battery, which I didn't want to do at this early stage, to get back in the slipstream and DRS range of my teammate. Verstappen still caught up behind Gasly, who's overtaking Esteban Ocon, I believe, in the Alpine. So these guys aren't going anywhere, thankfully. Holding each other up side-by-side through the Lecombe chicane. Still side-by-side, Verstappen looking for a way through, doesn't get a great exit. Gasly looking a little bit slow here. Is his engine about to blow up? No, it's not, because Verstappen goes up the inside with relative ease. And that one was a little bit more difficult than what it perhaps needed to be. I don't imagine Helmut Marko was impressed by that one. But regardless, Verstappen is through, and I'm sure he'll have no troubles cutting through the next group of cars as this race begins to open up. Look at that, Lewis Hamilton leading the Grand Prix, and by some margin over Sergio Perez. He's looking pretty good to get that first race win of 2022. I wonder if it's going to happen this year. I genuinely wonder. But that Mercedes in real life is improving. Well, it's improving in this game as well. So let's see if Hamilton can keep that streak of winning in every single year of F1 that he takes part in. For his sake, it would be so disappointing if he didn't get that. But I don't know. I'm starting to believe, and I think he's starting to believe himself, that he can surely win a race this year. Speaking of winning races, that won't be happening for Max Verstappen after that mistake. Getting spooked a little bit by the Williams. He just either corrects a slide or doesn't trust the Williams was going to make the corner. Takes avoiding action and almost just essentially put himself in the gravel trap. That was really weird. So Verstappen's day goes from bad to worse, and his chances of winning this race are really going to go out the window unless there's another safety car to bail him out in this race. 8 seconds shy of us, though he'll quickly make the inroads needed to catch back up once again. In the slipstream of Oscar Piastri down that straight. A couple of cars going side by side as they head into the next chicane. It's Albon and Gasly. Albon's gone straight on and carried Gasly with him. We go around the outside of our teammate, turns to the inside for the next right-hander, and it's still side by side for these two guys up ahead. Let's see if we can pick a way through. The AlphaTauri and the Williams going awfully slow, just trying to sort out who's going to go ahead. And it's Gasly who goes in a bit deep, makes contact with Albon. We're going to make this 3 wide. Though I back out of it because that's never going to end well. We saw what happened earlier. Made contact with Gasly on his rear diffuser. Hopefully, again, no damage on our front wing. Looks okay for now.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Awesome. The car is okay. We've had so many close calls. We just jump on the brakes at the right time to avoid disaster. Still, these guys are going side by side, and all that battling is costing us seconds to the next group of cars. The Alpine of Fernando Alonso, I'm guessing. It's Ocon. 6 seconds up the road now, and I'm actually meant to be battling with those guys. As we zoom in on the space I want to go towards, up the inside of the bus stop, getting very impatient here because of how much time we're losing. These guys are having a Red Bull reunion on this lap, and I don't really want to be a part of it. These guys are fighting for no points. I actually have the potential to get points because I'm going to the end of this race. Lads, please don't involve me in this. have it somewhere else where I'm not involved, please. But finally, the issue is resolved. Gasly gets ahead. We got in between the two of them, and then he pits anyway. What's the bloody point? Into the pit lane they go. Stroll is in, so is Daniel Ricciardo, and Alfa Romeo as well, and they're all going on to hard compound tyres. So really, we've lost a lot of time there. That's definitely going to hurt our chances of getting extra points. I still think we are on for a top 10 as we emerge alongside a Haas. That's Magnussen coming out of the pit lane. We need to jump in because he's going to have that slow warm-up of his hard compound tyres. But really, we haven't lost too much here because these guys are all on hard compound tyres and they're only like 5, 6 laps, 7 laps older or newer than mine. So I hope that there's not a huge pace disparity and we've got away with essentially a free pit stop in this race as we get up the inside of Magnussen. Thank you very much. That's P11 now. Still a few more people need to stop. Guan Yu Zhou is one of them. I just hope that that hasn't cost us. We are going to be a little bit slow for pace at the back end of this race. That's a Red Bull going slowly. That, of course, is Sergio Perez. At this point, I'm not even surprised. When I see a Honda power unit going slowly, it's not a crash. Engine failure every time. So that's is certainly going to help us now. We're up into P5, potentially P4 with Mick Schumacher coming out of the pit lane. And it's going to be the two Haas boys for the final 10 laps of this race, bullying me, trying to get inside the top 5. And here comes the first assignment. 29% ERS. They've got DRS themselves. And wow, I mentioned bullying. That is exactly what's happened down the Kemmel Straight. Magnussen looking to make 2 places in one go here. We follow his line because he's got the warm tyres now. Schumacher's got to bring those hards up to temperature. So he's got absolutely no pace at the start of his stint, and we're going to try and put him behind us if we can. But I was expecting the warm-up for the phase for the Haas boys to be a bit more brutal than that, as wow, Schumacher wasting no time trying to get me inside there, and loses a place to Alonso. So that's karma for getting greedy. The AI lately love going for very aggressive dives into corners where they're not necessarily entitled to space, or it's like a 50-50 move at best, which has caused Magnussen to get away. 2.5 seconds, and Alonso's gone now too. Here's the replay. What's happened here? He's gone for this move here. We left the space begrudgingly. Through here, he's setting up a better run, and then he turns out of the corner. I mean, I wasn't spinning. I wasn't in trouble. There was nothing to avoid there, and Alonso's put himself in the gravel. There's Schumacher going for another half-hearted move into... and he's lost another place. Sainz is through for P6. Okay, these guys have no racecraft. They have no racing brain. They just love going for a move for the sake of it. I mean, it's great for entertainment, not great for the timing sheets. 3.5 seconds now to Magnussen. I was never going to stay with these guys for long once they broke DRS, but still, this is becoming quite a joke because it's inviting the guys behind us into the party side by side with Sainz, and he squeezed us like we're not even there. What is going on with our competitors today? We have been given no respect in this Belgian Grand Prix, and Sainz, I maybe didn't expect the overspeed from us there because he had the momentum, but then at the last second we just kind of came back at him without any battery deployment from us. I think it was just kind of like a side toe we were able to get there, and Sainz not checking his mirrors, not checking... I mean, I was in his blind spot a little bit, but surely you've got to leave a little bit of a safety margin. And we're out of the running for the points now in this Belgian Grand Prix. That is such a shame. Down to 11th place. We go from 5th to 11th. We lose about... well, I guess we'll find out now. How much time do we lose? 52, 54, 55, 8 seconds. Near enough on that lap, and those crucial 7-8 seconds had all the AI in the midfield in them, so
tyre condition still looking good.
There goes our chance for points, unfortunately. Now it's too late to box for a set of soft compound tyres. If I was going to react, it would have been last lap or the lap before. We pretty much lost most of a pit stop there. There's no point stopping now. We won't make up the time to get back in the points. Really, from here now, guys, we just have to push to hold on to the position we're in. We need a top 12 for the sponsor bonus. So at least there's that. We're still pushing for a claim. So these, even though we're out of the points, these positions are not pointless. There's still a lot to be gained in this race. So defending hard as we can with P11. There's potential someone else could retire, and that could give us P10. So I'm definitely going to fight for P11 like my life depends on it. Same for P12, to be honest. But we're forming, again, another queue of cars. There goes Ocon on the straight. Tried to give him a squeeze to maybe make him hesitate a little bit. To be fair, he kept his foot in. Very brave. And takes P11. That might be game over for us getting a points finish now. There's going to have to be a few retirements at this rate. Still 6 laps to go. There's a threat of rain at the end of the race. But I'm hearing from Mark that there's still another 15 minutes away. So by that logic, we'll probably get it at Singapore. Tsunoda in the slipstream. Tsunoda in the DRS. And that AlphaTauri is very slippery in a straight line. Able to keep them at bay for now, but when they're within 3/4 tenths, it's going to be very tricky to keep them behind, especially without ERS light flashing and the rear tires really starting to go off. Here he comes up the inside with a savage lunge, and there's nothing we can do. We just have to sidestep him to avoid a crash. I mean, we do that to the AI week in, week out. I suppose we're getting our just desserts now, getting dive bombed by Tsunoda. Guan Yu Zhou is up next. What happened to him? He's been overtaken by Gasly and Verstappen, so he got ratioed by those guys. Mick Schumacher's got damage. I'm assuming a bit of contact with his teammate, potentially. And, yeah, that's another points finish out the window for Haas. Yeah, unfortunate, because they don't seem to be managing their drivers very well to maximize points, whether it's in the game or in real life. So I guess the realism from Codemasters there is brilliant. But Lewis Hamilton leading this race from Charles Leclerc. The gap is half a second at this point. Lewis Hamilton trying to hold on for his first win of the season, trying to buy his way into this championship fight with Max Verstappen down the order. There's Lance Stroll having a moment at turn 1, and that's going to give us a position. Yes, it will give us a position into P11 now. So if there's any other mistakes or a retirement, a points finish is certainly not out of the question, especially with these two gunning for the victory of this race. Lewis Hamilton is not going to give this one up, nor Charles Leclerc. He needs this victory because Max Verstappen has been on a bit of a romp lately with victories, and with him down the order, this is a good chance for Charles Leclerc to really establish himself at the top of this championship. Still a championship leader. Here goes Charles Leclerc round the outside. Hamilton making him go the long way round, heading into the Lecombe chicane. Hamilton laid under brakes, but Leclerc round the outside. Verstappen style there as Hamilton fights back through the Lecombe chicane. As the inside for the next right-hander, it's still side by side for these two. And Hamilton trying to put the big squeeze on, but he can't deter Charles Leclerc from going for the move again. A bit of contact at the no-name corner. Maybe a bit of damage for the left-hand end plate for Hamilton. Still side by side for these two. And it's Leclerc who is going to hold out on top, but Hamilton goes up into overtake. Tries to go around the outside. In the end, it doesn't work. He's trying all sorts of different lines here to rattle the Ferrari driver. It doesn't look like that has worked on this occasion, and Hamilton, it gets demoted down to P2. No front wing damage from what we can see from that brief analysis there. 2 laps to go in this race, and meanwhile, this is what's been going on in our world. Defending from Max Verstappen, who's not in the points. That is crucial. In this championship fight, Verstappen is not on target for any points today. He's going to go on a big charge to try and catch up to Yuki Tsunoda. Maybe some team orders at play. We'll have to wait and see. But Zhou Guan Yu has got past Pierre Gasly and is now on the back of me now. This is the position we need. There's contact and gives me floor damage. For the second time in this weekend, we have floor damage, and that's going to slow us down on the straight. It's going to make us a little bit more unstable through the high-speed corners. And overall, that's just not ideal. Anyway, it's the last lap of the Grand Prix. This is Lewis Hamilton in the slipstream within DRS range of Charles Leclerc to get his first victory of the season. Can he get it with his final chance at DRS? He needs to be an overtake. He's turned it off. Maybe he's out of ERS. How's the Ferrari driver handling with his battery in the slipstream? Is Hamilton. He moves to the inside. Oh, is he going to get it? No, he can't. He needed to commit just that little bit further. Charles Leclerc sliding with the rear tyres. Meanwhile, back to us. It's P12. Who cares? It's P12. I care. My sponsor cares. They want me to finish in this place. it's worth a couple of $100,000, I think. So it's definitely worth fighting for us. We defend to the inside from Guan Yu Zhou, and that should be game over for that battle, I hope. Meanwhile, Hamilton unable to get the Ferrari driver, and Charles Leclerc is back to the winning ways in that Ferrari in this first season. Lovely stuff. Anyway, back to us, about a minute behind, still side by side. I thought we had fought off the threat of Guan Yu Zhou. He's up my inside. I don't have any enthusiasm left for this battle, guys. My voice is gone at this point. He's got the inside. We're trying to hold the outside line, but with that floor damage, just a bit impossible there. Let's see if we can get the slipstream, use the rest of our battery, 15%. That's Alfa Romeo is very fast in a straight line, and now we've got Pierre Gasly for company. Oh my word, this race has really gone downhill, and it's all because of Carlos Sainz. Daniel Ricciardo, at least for the Aussie, he's getting the fastest lap of the race. Not too sure where he's at the moment. P6, P7 essentially. Tried to go for a big lunge there on Guan Yu Zhou, didn't work out, and I think it's going to cost us our position on Pierre Gasly. No, it doesn't. We hold on to P13. Another one down the drain.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they persevered to take the win here today. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
The Mercedes fans are fuming. They have seen their driver lose the lead with 2 laps to go in this Belgian Grand Prix. Alex Gillen's certainly happy. Very good. Very good. Charles Leclerc gets another victory on the books and further solidifies his position at the top of the standings. I actually thought it was really close, but when you see the driver's standings in a minute, Leclerc is actually dominating somewhat in the driver's standings. So, yeah, big missed opportunity for Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz down the order a little bit, yeeting the competition at points. Daniel Ricciardo was up there in qualifying. He was like provisional pole in Q1, sets the fastest lap of the race there. So there's some real potential there for McLaren. Lando Norris only 2 seconds away from the victory. That is a team that is certainly improving. And if anything, their strengths are the polar opposite to real life. It seems like the power tracks of McLaren are really suiting them. But, yeah, P13, 32 seconds off the pace. I think we lost like 7-8 seconds with that squabble with Sainz. Perhaps we would have finished outside the points anyway. The pace really tailored off towards the end. It wasn't very strong. The AI just really had it over us for battery deployment. And just through the high-speed stuff, we were quite a bit slower there. So it would have been tough to hold on to points, but we never got that opportunity really to defend our position. No points, 8th in the Constructors. I think we fall back in the Drivers as well by virtue of Ocon getting a few points. And Aston Martin with Sebastian Vettel, they got 6 points today. So Aston Martin potentially starting to become a threat to our 8th place in the Constructors. Only a 14-point buffer to those guys. So we're going to have to monitor that situation very carefully, because if Vettel starts getting on a roll, then we have to do what we can to defend 8th in the Constructors. It's not a huge drama yet, but if he keeps getting points finishes, then development might have to kickstart again towards the end of this season. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the Belgian Grand Prix. Absolutely crazy race. 3 wide on the first lap down into Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Was never going to end well. Some crazy battling with the AI. Took a punt under the safety car. It might have worked, but we need to be stronger with our ERS, tyre wear, all the things. It was going to be tough doing a one-stop on hards all the way to the end of the race from pretty much the start of the Grand Prix. We could have pulled the trigger and gone to softs maybe, or mediums, and just covered off those around us, but I really wanted to go for points. I felt like that was our best chance to just defend and hold track position, but Yeah, we got undone there. Anyway, we head to... It's not Monza anymore. We have to go to Zandvoort. And I think we might go all right there. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I got my first win there for Marduk Motorsport in 2020. So, yeah, let's see if we can get points. Oscar Piastri, not a good one for him today. Let's bounce back. Can't upgrade the car, but if we can go with some wacky setup, we might be able to be pretty fast. Anyway, I'm waffling. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.